Okay, boys and girls, we're going to show you the quickest, easiest, cheapest, laziest shelving solution known to man. I've used this technique for about 15 years now and it hasn't failed me. Great for if you're a bachelor or you're renting and you can't put anything up on walls and you've got a big collection of something. Today that something is DVDs, and I'll show you what we're talking about. This is great for if you're renting or you're on a budget and you've got a big collection of whether it be DVDs or games or Blu-rays or CDs. This I find is the best thing in the world, and it looks pretty cool too if you do it this way. Alright, so anyway, you don't have to be technically minded, you don't have to be too good with a screwdriver, you really don't need much. Honestly, you just need the wood, a screwdriver, screws, and if you're really lucky, you might even have one of these things. It'll make the job even easier. Screws can be anything. This is just what I found lying around, just long enough to do what they got to do. So what is that, 35 mil. These ones are also I think they're countersunk, so they're going to look a bit more flush. And this is what you do. So you buy your wood. It's a particular size. I'll write that there. No. And if you're really clever, what you do, depending on how big you want to go, places like Bunnings will actually cut the wood for you, so you don't even have to do any cutting. This technique, you really don't need to do any cutting. If you do it first off, as in prep your sizes and stuff like that, and all you essentially have to do is screw. You don't even have to measure. As I said, you really don't need to be technically minded. So the shelf I'm building is exactly the width of the wood, as you can see. So I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pieces of this wood. They're all the exact same length, so it's going to be a square shelf. So as I said, I don't have to cut anything, and the way I've designed it is that you put the shelves inside like that. It's all going to be the same length. Okay, so you can get different lengths. These are 1.2, you can get 1.8. I think you can go even over that as well. In regards to measuring, how do you get the spaces? Well, the oldest trick in the book. I put a whole bunch of DVDs there, and I put a bunch of whole DVD cases there, knowing quite well that is what the height's going to be. It's going to be nice and tight, and they won't fall out. The way they're designed is that if you have a look on the side when it's done, it's going to hang over the edge, and it's going to give the impression that it's floating. It looks really spectacular. But word of warning, not all DVD cases, for example, are the same. And I'm not talking about width, I'm talking about height. So if you've got a mixed collection of cases, you might want to get the tallest one to be your template. So for example, these boxes are going to be a little bit bigger than probably a normal case. And it says here, you can see there's not much. That can cause an issue. Let's get another one. And as we can see, those two are pretty good, but the black one is a little bit bigger than the average size Australian DVD case, just a little bit, and that can cause you grief. So if we go for the tallest one, that will be a template. That way we know we're going to be able to fit everything in. Okay, so here's an example of when things don't go quite to plan, but it doesn't matter, you can still turn into an advantage. So as you could probably see now, we have an extra shelf, because by the time I lined them all up, there's either going to be a really big gap, which is not what we want, so we put an extra shelf in. It gives us that up the top there, which, and from my experience, is a good size to put your nicks and knacks and cases on their side, ones that you're watching at the time or whatever. So yeah, we'll finish this off and we'll go from there. So you can basically do it all yourself. If you've got, an extra head of hands, it's a little bit quicker. But as you can see, you just got to hold it firm, and you don't have to pre-drill. I mean, if you're a real enthusiast, you could pre-drill, but as long as you hold it firm, there's no reason why it won't work. I'm doing the frame first, the outside frame, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so there's the frame done. So the structure's, that part's done. Now it's time to put the shells in. Alright, so when you're doing it, especially if you're doing it by yourself, it is important to make sure you have a flat, even surface. So when you push down, it's gonna be flush. Alright, so I'm just gonna put 2 screws here and here, and do this, and then move the DVDs to the other side and do the same thing. And there we have it. There's the first shelf done. I'm now on the second shelf. So once again, we just butt up the wood like so, like that. Push it down because obviously this part of the ground's uneven. Or if you really want to be clever, if you had 2 people, you could put a DVD on both sides like so. Screw in, and then do the other side, and then move it up to the next one, and do it again. And there you have it. And here is the finished product. Lovely. So here's an example of one of my cabinets I did on a larger scale. That's actually in the wall. So they're all just in their own little thingies, in their own little bays. And as you can see, the DVDs sit off the shelf, and they give the impression that they're floating. And you can see all manner of variations.